never been happier than sitting by your side and watching what may be a great moment of redemption for Dansheel Moodley, or this could be the moment LeBrave ascends to the global stage.
What a fight we have in prospect here to open up the card. We have Noureddin LeBrave, Hezrat. Yes, he may be relatively young in his mixed martial arts career at only 1-0, but this man has a wealth of martial arts experiences. Started wrestling at 7 years old, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at 8 years old, then began to supplement that with boxing and Muay Thai. 2015, he won the European BJJ Championships. 2016, he won the French National BJJ Championships. We're talking about a man that has medaled at Naga exclusively. A BJJ purple belt with Muay Thai experience, he's competed in both sports. Very dangerous fighter, and 1-0 with one submission on his ledger does not tell the full story of this man's capabilities, Carrick.
He does. This is the new generation of mixed martial arts fighters, Phil. Everybody has known for a couple of decades that you need to cross-train, but this man takes it to the next level, and he cross-competes in a lot of different combat sports. And I do believe it's gonna do him well tonight.
Made his professional debut this year, July 2019, winning by a second-round triangle. It's an incredibly dangerous fighter. Training out of the MMA factory in Paris, France, supplementing that with his Muay Thai at Mahmoudi Gym Muay Thai in Paris, France. As you say, a real new generation of fighter. Let's send it up to Carlos Kramer to bring our next fighter to the cage.
And let's welcome his opponent into the cage. From Durban, South Africa, put yourself together for Dansheel Moodley. This next bout is 3 5-minute rounds in the flyweight division. Introducing your first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner, this man's a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 1 win and no losses. He stands 163 centimeters tall and weighs already 57 kilograms. Representing MMA Factory Paris and fighting out of Paris, France. Put your hands together for Noureddin LeBrave Hezrat. Woo. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man's a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 4 wins and 2 losses. He stands 167 centimeters tall and weighs already 57 kilograms. Representing Domination Fighting Fitness Gym and fighting out of Durban, South Africa, please welcome Dansheel Moodley. Your referee is Sabi Halmadshan.
Talk about a tale of 2 fighters. Noureddin Hezrat is pumped up for this fight, while Dansheel Moodley is just taking it in, looks loosey-goosey, can't wait to get started. Noureddin Hezrat in the black and green shorts, Dansheel Moodley in the red shorts. Here we go, guys. Touch of the gloves to start. Nice kick to get it started from Dansheel. Noureddin coming out of that southpaw stance, but just eats a myriad of punches there. Beautiful leg kicking work from Dansheel Moodley. Nice slick combination work, and it just looks loose and fluid. Just short with the uppercut. One of those got through. Dansheel looks really good here. His hands look so clean. Forcing a shot in from Noureddin Hezrat.
Phil, this is phenomenal fighting from our friend Buddha. He mixed up straight shots, looping shots, and he purposefully held back on speed a couple of times to throw his opponent off. It's paying off for him so far. Stuck in the front head briefly, but now he's popped it out. Well, let's see what he can do against Cage. We've seen him on the outside.
I'd like to see him disengage right now because he was getting the better of the striking exchanges. So break off, maybe hit a shot on the break, a short elbow, and keep using that beautiful striking, that combination boxing that we saw in the opening stanzas. Judo throw from Hezrat. Momentarily had Dansheel on his back, but great work to pop right back up.
My feeling, Phil, is that Buddha is trying to feel his opponent out at all ranges of combat sports. He tried to feel him out, long shots from the outside, struck from the inside, dirty boxing. Now they're cage fighting.
He may also be trying to wear on his opponent, get that lactic acid flowing to the muscles, make the arms heavy.
It would not surprise me if he goes for a takedown fairly soon, tries to see how he fares on the ground. Once he's felt his opponent out at range with strikes, against the fence and on the ground, he'll know what he has to do to win.
Dansheel intelligently keeping his back nice and straight, so he's not susceptible to that guillotine choke. Good pressure work from Dansheel Moodley. Just methodically taking his time, forcing Noordin Hezrat to carry his weight. He almost baited Noordin Hezrat there into trying the judo throw. Good head positioning too from Dansheel, just underneath the chin and on the jaw. You can hear the corner of Dansheel Moodley calling for the takedown. Needs to be wary of the guillotine choke here. Pops the head right back out. Nice sprawl, good heavy hips. Now inside the open guard. He's trying to find an angle there. You can see him trying to work for the arm bar, trying to at least create that angle with the foot on the hip, trying to isolate an arm. Dansheel Moodley needs to square off the hips here.
Speaking broadly, Buddha has two basic options here. He can try and pass that guard and advance positionally, or he can try and ground and pound from within the guard.
I'd like to see him sit back a little bit on his heels, posture up a little more, and land those strikes. That's the thing with being inside an opponent's guard. You either have to be all the way in or postured up. You can't leave yourself in that no man's land, Carrick, where you're susceptible to leaving an arm or a triangle being set up on you.
Once again, Dansheel's head positioning is brilliant, keeping himself completely out of trouble, working now to pass the guard.
Very intelligent, complete performance so far. In a little under 4 minutes, he's in on the single leg. Needs to be wary of that guillotine or the ninja choke. That was the particular submission that Franz Malambo finished him with. Now we see a reversal of fortunes. Noordin Hezrat trying to take the back here. As we said, a very dangerous Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt. Both hooks in from Hezrat. One hook, apologies. Trying to work for the body triangle, but great work. Needs to be wary of the armbar. Good work to square off and maintain position from Dansheel.
Dansheel Moodley has now felt his opponent at all ranges of combat, standing and on the ground. He knows what he's fighting here. He knows what he's dealing with. That's
an illegal up kick.
An illegal up kick, caused no damage. There may be a little warning. They may give the downed fighter a little opportunity to
get up. Are you okay?
Clear his head. I think they're freezing time. There was short time left. Again, very good officiating here.
Is that a little cut under the eye of Dansheel Moodley? He's happy to get back into that striking realm. Beautiful, crisp 1-2 right down the pipe.
Stop! 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 Break.
Round one ends.
Was there a little bit of needle there at the end of that, with Noordin perhaps holding the clinch just a little bit too long?
I didn't take a point,
it's a fight.
but be careful, okay?
Dansheel does not look impressed at all. A little nick just on the corner of the left eye of Dansheel, I think. But a real solid first round by Dansheel Moodley. Opened up with some beautiful, crisp striking. Just the hands looking very sharp, mixing in his hooks and uppercuts.
Please feed it outside, okay?
And then chooses to clinch with Noordin Hezrat, just to let him know that I have that in my arsenal too. A real intelligent, measured. Good heavy sprawl we've seen from Dansheel there. And that's the closing stances where Nordine thinks, I might just keep a grip for a little bit longer.
Phil, as you alluded to earlier, Dansheel had his greatest success striking. I think that's what we're going to see in the second round.
Seconds out.
I think that would be the most intelligent approach if you're having the ascendancy in the striking. I think Dansheel was looking for an uppercut in the hope that Nordine was going to come in for a lazy takedown and get caught.
Fight.
Sebi Hamajan gets us going for a second round. Again, nice, relaxed, free-flowing shots from Dansheel Moodley. Nice jab to hook combination. Same hand. The corner of Dansheel calling for the body.
Oldest saying in combat sports, kill the body and the head will die.
Beautiful set-through work, but needs to be wary of a guillotine. Trying to go for that arm-in guillotine. Good work from Dansheel. See Nordine Hazrat had 1 foot on the hip. Dansheel steps over into half guard. And again, this is a great position, this half guard position or the anchor position, to land beautiful strikes. We've seen Randy Couture make an MMA career out of it.
Yeah, I consider half guard in mixed martial arts to be half mounted, particularly if there's a cage near, which of course is not the case here. But bottom half guard, it's the single most productive position you can be in terms of scoring in jiu-jitsu, but this isn't jiu-jitsu, this is mixed martial arts.
Solid work from Nordine to try and get that sweep there, but needs to be wary of an armbar, and great work to land inside from Dansheel Moodley. Again, he just has that arm around the back of the neck. Has one, the other hand, elbow nice and tight against the hip, just immobilizing the movement of Nordine Hazrat.
I'm very impressed, Phil, by how calm Buddha is. He's not rushing his movements. He's moving quick enough so the referee's not going to stand him up, but he's taking his time, taking in information, tiring his opponent out. He's fighting very, very intelligently here.
Buddha by name, Buddha by nature, and he may try and take the back here. Nice scramble work from Nordine to get himself back into that guard position. But Dansheel keeping everything so tight and so compact. Very intelligent from the South African man.
Dansheel has great confidence in this fight. In a sense, I think he's almost got too much confidence. This is not the position from which he's had the best success. I'd like to see him just stand up, return to striking from the outside.
But a guy like Nordine Hazrat is always going to be dangerous. He's always going to be one moment away from shifting the hips, finding an armbar, a triangle, some sort of submission. It's not a guard you want to get comfortable in, Kirik.
It's not a guard you can't get comfortable in. He's keeping that left foot in the hip, gets past, reguards. This is not where Dansheel Moodley is the strongest, relatively speaking. But as I said, he's got great confidence. He feels like he can win on the ground. He feels like he can win anywhere, so that's what he's trying to do.
He may be trying to set up a head arm triangle. We see him try and pin that arm down. But someone like Nordine, he's always moving, constantly looking for something, trying to find something offensive.
Regard, look for the elevator, looking to put that foot in the hip again to get some distance.
I'd like to see some more strikes from Dansheel. Just as I say that, he lands two. Maybe framing off and landing those elbows.
Brave Nation, there's always a trade-off when striking on the ground. If you posture back and get power in your shots, you're going to lose position. If you keep perfect position, you're going to have light shots. There is no perfect balance between the two. What you saw here was Dansheel Moodley posture back a little bit, try and land some shots, ends up in his opponent's guard. Now he's stuck in a front head.
Again, pops out and just happy to sit in the guard. It really is the responsibility of Nordine Hazrat to make something happen right now. Dansheel Moodley's winning the fight with his dominant positional wrestling and ground control.
The guard is, by definition, a defensive position. And as you said, it is incumbent now on Le Brave to start trying to attack a little more aggressively. Having said that, an aggressive submission attack on a fighter at Dansheel's level is very, very difficult because he gives you nothing.
Just trying to pop that leg out.
One of the central strategies of guard is to hold an opponent to a point where you're not going to get knocked out and wait for him to make a mistake, but we're not seeing any mistakes by Dansheel Moodley.
Referee Sebi Halmajan happy to let them work. Trying to throw up that arm bar. Dansheel Moodley wise to it, just postures up.
Short time now.
10 seconds to go, and this is bound to be frustrating for Nordin Hezrat and his team. Bound to be thinking, what more do I need to do? Because he's been trying to shift the hips, he's been trying to get a butterfly hook in, he's been trying to sweep, but so far it's been largely ineffective.
I think it's been effective because Dansheel Moodley has been so effective with his posture. Head never moved out of place, hands were never out of place. Hard to get a submission off under those conditions. Phil, walk us through the replay.
Well, this is just the dominant positional work from Dansheel Moodley. Even when he popped right out of it, he went straight back in, diving back in, just to suppress. It's a beautiful illustration of what I like to call shutdown jiu-jitsu, where your main objective is to shut down the offense of your opponent whilst having that dominant position, whilst landing strikes. Very intelligent, measured performance so far after 2 rounds from Dansheel Moodley.
Phil, I think we're both confident that Dansheel is up.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's
up
fair.
20-18. So the only way Le Brave can win this fight is by a submission or knockout. Let's see if he goes for it.
And that makes Nordin Hezrat a very dangerous fighter if he knows he has to come out and get the finish to win this fight. So I expect to see him come out perhaps with a turn it up to 11, put that pressure on Dansheel Moodley.
Great show of sportsmanship.
Oh, beautiful level change. Takes the body, then the head.
That, in my opinion, is where Dansheel Moodley has been most effective, throwing looping shots from the outside, up the middle.
Works the body too. I think the uppercut's there for him. I think we're going to see Nordin shoot in at some stage, and there's the scope there for a flush uppercut. There it is. Beautiful timing on it from Dansheel Moodley. Needs to be wary of the ninja choke or the guillotine choke.
Nordin Hezrat, very strong fighter, but all that being grounded and pounded took away some of that strength, I believe.
Dansheel does well to get postured up. Didn't want to leave his head in that position. Nice softening up. Good knee reply from Nordin Hezrat. Le Brave really has to do the impossible right now and try and find a finish from somewhere, Kirik.
He does indeed. It may well be, though, that he doesn't have the gas to show his best game at this point. Having Dansheel Moodley on top of you for about 10 minutes, not a pleasant way to spend an evening.
And again, just wearing on Nordin Hezrat. Scope there to work the body a little bit, should he choose to. Again, in that over-under position. One underhook, one overhook. You can see Nordin looking at his corner as if to say, what do I do? What can I do? Right now, Dansheel Moodley is just dictating every aspect of this fight. He's had the advantages in the stand-up, he's had the advantages in the clinch work standing, and he's had the advantages when they've gone to the ground.
Dansheel has brilliant cage intelligence. He knows what his opponent's got. He feels like he's the better fighter, and that's what we're seeing in front of us.
I like the Dansheel in that position. He's still landing his strikes. He's still landing those little pop knees. He's still landing those little pot shots. Trying to get in on a single. You can see him with the grip.
Always keeping that head just out of danger.
Nordin Hezrat tries to circle off, but that underhook from Dansheel Moodley doesn't allow him to do that. It's also a prime position for foot stomps that you don't see enough in mixed martial arts. I know our colleague Noel O'Keefe is a huge fan of the dirty, dirty foot stomps.
Yeah, they hurt.
.90 seconds left in this third and final round. Can Noordin Hazrat do something definitive? Great strength shown by Dansheel Moodley. Just showing how dominant he is, as I've alluded to, in all aspects of this mixed martial arts contest.
One of the things judo players struggle with in mixed martial arts is the absence of grips. There are, of course, no-gi grips that you can modify, but a lot of the central aspects of judo do not apply when you take the gi off. I think we're seeing a little bit of that here. If they had gis on, Dansheel might be up somewhere around the moon, but there's no gi on.
So less than 45 seconds to go, Carrick. What does or what can Noordin Hazrat do in this position? Does he just need to throw everything at Dansheel Moodley?
You're actually seeing it right here. He needed to either pummel in a little bit, get some leverage, get off the wall, and try and end it with a strike, or take his opponent down to the ground and try and finish him quickly. He did manage to take his opponent down to the ground, but he got reversed.
You see he's trying to get that foot on the hip, trying to create angles for himself, but Dansheel, so intelligent. 10 seconds to go.
Short time now.
There it is.
Well, Phil, they do say never leave it in the hands of the judges, but I think this is one of those times where we're pretty confident we know what those judges are going to tell us.
Yeah, for me, that was just 3 rounds of dominance from Dansheel Moodley. I can't see realistically anything other than a 30-27 at the very least. I think Noordin knows that himself. You can see a little bit of dejection on his face there. Just everything he tried to do offensively was completely shut down by Dansheel Moodley. Here we see that intelligent ground positional work from Dansheel. I think this was really the only highlight for Noordin. Was able to land some strikes, but Dansheel Moodley.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what a great fight. After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. The first 2 judges scored about 30-27. Your last judge scores about 29-27 for your winner. By unanimous decision, out of the red corner, Dansheel Moodley!
Co-main, Phil, of one extraordinary night of fights in Durban, South Africa.
One of Durban's favourite fighting sons, Dansheel Moodley, in the co-main event.
And that's the Dansheel Moodley we love and respect so much, attacking at angles.
Nice heavy leg kick response from Anton Larsson. Oh, he caught him a little bit there with a straight, forced the shot. Dansheel Moodley in on a single. Needs to wrap both arms around the leg if he's going for the takedown.
Crazy Ty looking to set up another ninja choke? Nope.
Momentarily, I think it may have been going for the arm drag there on the far side. Dansheel doing well, just forcing Larsson to carry his weight right now. This is what he did so expertly in Romania. Just took his time, forced his opponent to carry his weight.
Dansheel Moodley is a master of grinding. It's my favorite style of mixed martial arts.
Good take.
You just grind him. You push him against the fence. You punch him. You wrestle him.
Strikes being landed by Anton. So far, his takedown defense is holding up well.
Moodley challenging Anton's strikes by being nose to nose with him or close to it. Muay Thai fighters, of course, prefer to hit at distance.
Just has that head underneath the chin of Larsson. Good control from Moodley.
Little giraffe fight going on here, little head fight. Whoever keeps their head inside the other fighter's head has the advantage when it comes to the takedown or control against the fence.
Dansheel just biding his time, trying to find that opening. Forcing the Thai fighter into defensive mode.
Nice little defensive strikes by the Crazy Thai. Even though he's pinned against the wall, if he gets an opportunity, he pops a little shot up. Those knuckles to the eye can hurt. And Phil, of course, it's so hard to throw those little shots and not get taken down when you're pushed up against the fence.
Yeah, you don't want to overcommit to your strikes in a situation like this. Nice work from Dansheel Moodley, mixing it up with the strikes himself. Changed the level momentarily.
Fantastic fight so far on both sides.
I thought he may have been looking for a fireman's carry there. Nice knee in the clinch from the Thai fighter.
They're exchanging knees. 1 for 1.
Midway point of the first round here. Nice takedown defense and break from Anton Larsson.
And this is the relentless Dansheel Moodley. Separate, he's on you. Dansheel Moodley always seeks to do more than his opponent is doing.
May change levels and go for that ankle. Beautiful pop knee from the Crazy Thai. Trying to bring Dansheel Moodley's level up so he can fight for his own underhooks.
Crazy Thai, having taken the fight on short notice, may be conserving his energy to a certain extent. May not be trying to as explosively as he might be able to get off that fence. Biding his time a little bit.
And I think it's intelligent work from Dansheel Moodley. He knows the fighter's coming in short notice. His cardio may not necessarily be fight camp cardio, taking the fight in short notice. So Dansheel may just be trying to wear him out for the first round.
If he is, it'd be a brilliant strategy. Oh,
Larsson,
switch attempt.
Larsson tried to hit the switch and give up the takedown himself.
Denied. Dansheel Moodley is a tremendous wrestler.
Just elevating the legs, trying to triangle them.
Leg was shelved momentarily. He's looking to shelf it again.
But Anton Larsson working tirelessly to get back to his feet.
Larsson turning those hips. Looked like he might have been going for a Sambo victory roll.
You may see Dansheel unload some ground and pound here. Just seems to have, does he have the wrist pinned? We can't quite tell from this position.
Got that leg shelved again where he wants it.
Again, in on the single. Heavy, heavy wrestling from Dansheel Moodley. Changes levels, trying to secure that takedown again. He's having success with the knees to the midsection.
Well, Phil, I think we saw a very intelligent strategy from Dansheel Moodley, and I think it worked. 10-9, yeah?
Real solid work from Dansheel Moodley. Just dominated all the grappling exchanges. Tasted the power of Anton Larsson. Didn't want to mess with that, so he done the intelligent thing. Closed the distance, implemented his game, kept the fight where he is dominant.
And when it did come time to throw standing strikes, rather than pop in and out of range and exchange shots, he charged forward, throwing big shots, got into the clinch, started to grind his opponent down.
What I'd like to see from Anton Larsson is a little bit more lateral movement instead of moving in these straight lines.
Dansheel looking cool and collected. Crazy Thai looks like he can't wait for this fight to start.
Here we go.
Little hand touch, we love to see that.
Both men exchanging. Beautiful work again from Moodley. Use the strikes, close the distance, initiate the clinch.
And then start to grind your opponent's energy away.
Has that wrist control, needs to be wary. of that arm just sneaking underneath the armpit. If he pops the head down, there's potential for a choke.
I was impressed by both fighters' short, sharp strikes from in here. Glad to see that's continuing. They're expanding those knuckle shots to the eyes into knees. So a body shot.
Maybe in on the takedown. Trying to hook the leg. But credit to Anton Larsson, he's not going easily. Hits the switch. Oh, beautiful tenacity from Dansheel
That was
Moodley.
fantastic. This sport is defined by those little tiny moments, those little tiny scrambles like that. You win the scramble, you win the fight.
Maybe in on the double here.
Hands are connected.
Beautiful work.
But Crazy Ty is hard to take down and way harder to hold down.
What I like about Anton Larsson is he's never settling. He's always trying to get back up. But he may have given up his back here.
A little bit of a tactical mistake that may come from his greater familiarity with the Muay Thai ring. When he stood up, he should have had no distance between the cage and his body.
Jamil Chan momentarily had that figure four grip. Uses the whizzer just to push Larsson down.
I'm liking Crazy Ty's jiu-jitsu too. Got half guard, got the underhook on his side.
Does have one win via guillotine choke in his professional mixed martial arts career. Dansheel Moodley is essentially a mixed martial arts fire blanket. He is not giving Larsson any space with which to work.
And the thing I love about it is you know what he's going to do and you still can't stop it. He's going to punch you. He's going to close while punching you. He's going to push you up against the fence and punch you. He's going to take you down and punch you. And when you get so tired you make a mistake, he's going to try and tap you. As you said of Anton Larsson, a little bit more circular motion when the two of them are on the outside could help him further his game. He's by no means getting completely dominated or close to being stopped in these close exchanges, but he sure isn't winning them.
Another takedown, tried to hit the switch, and he's done that twice. But again, it's just the tenacity of Dansheel Moodley that keeps him in the dominant position. In the half guard now.
Moodley has mastered this type of fighting.
This grinding style really has become kind of the hallmark of his particular brand of mixed martial arts.
It is, and I love it because it's so pure.
Just completely shuts down his opponents.
Crazy Ty doesn't want to back up in a straight line like he is right there. He wants to circle out. If he backs straight up, he's going to get clinched with again. Back straight up, hit the fence.
Moodley right back into the grappling realm.
Crazy Ty right above us right now, even with his back against fence. He's trying to throw some strikes. Moodley, of course, throwing strikes of his own. And again, these look light, but they hurt.
Absolute shutdown wrestling from Dansheel Moodley. Just forcing Anton Larsson to carry his weight right now. Doing well to split the base, but the legs are together now. Can't continue to stand like that.
Crazy Ty, as we've seen, extremely hard to take down, even harder to hold down.
10 seconds to go.
Short time now.
Real intelligent, measured performance so far from Dansheel Moodley. Again, another dominant round for the Durban man.
It is. I think we're looking at 2018, and there's not really any question in my mind about it. Once again, Phil, we've got a situation where I believe Crazy Ty's corner is going to tell him in order to win this fight, You have to stop your opponent. You can't simply win this third round. It's very unlikely that that stoppage comes via submission, so I think we're going to see a fired up Crazy Ty trying to end this fight with strikes. My opinion, best way to do it would be to circle just a little bit more. Don't back straight up to that fence.
He needs to employ lateral movement, because his movement at the minute is straight lines, and that's what Dansheel Moodley is banking on. Use his strikes to back him up against the cage, initiate the clinch. Anton Larsson needs to come out and do something spectacular. He cannot let the fight unfold in the same fashion as rounds 1 and 2 did.
Big props to Anton Larsson, though, for his conditioning. Took this fight on short notice. Looks great after 10 minutes of fighting. Looks real good.
Larsson just pointed at the ground as if to say, come on, trying to bait. Oh, he wobbled him a little bit. Oh, he caught him! He caught him! He caught him on the way in. Those were stiff shots. How rocked is Dansheel Moodley? How quickly can he recover? Reverts to type with a beautiful takedown. Just giving himself a little bit of time to collect his thoughts, get composed. Good work from Anton Larsson. He needs to create that separation.
He's got a circle. Can't let him. He can't back straight up and get caught against that fence. What happens after that, we now know. Easier, very much easier said from the side than being done in there when you're fighting Dansheel Moodley, however. It's no criticism of Anton Larsson.
Again, has that leg. Again, strike to close distance to initiate the clinch.
Popcorn is, I believe, a reference to bouncing off the fence into a takedown.
Use the momentum of the cage.
It's a technique. Oh, looking for that switch again.
But again, just the tenacity.
And Larsson got a little closer than he did the last time on that. So last 2 times on that switch. He's landing some nasty elbows to the ear.
As you say, it's so difficult against a fighter like Dansheel Moodley. You know what he's going to do. It's your responsibility to stop it. But so far, Anton Larsson hasn't really had an answer for the wrestling and grappling of Dansheel Moodley. May just pull that ankle out a little bit. Trying to get that one hook in.
Anton Larsson wisely keeping that back pressed up against the fence. If he gives Dansheel any room, Dansheel's going to be on his back, put that second hook in, possibly figure 4 the body, start threatening a choke, and that's a threat. Crazy Ty looking to stand. And he's up.
Manages to get back to the feet, but eats a knee from Moodley for his troubles. You can tell what Anton Larsson's trying to do. He's trying to create a little bit of separation to land his shots, but Dansheel Moodley is just shutting him down.
Phil, I did love your use of the term fire blanket to describe this. It's not a normal wrestling blanket. It's a fire blanket. It's a blanket that hurts.
Like a dog with a bone on that takedown. Minute to go in the round. Can Anton Larsson mount some sort of offense? Does he have an answer for the dominant wrestling of Dansheel Moodley?
He does not appear to, Phil, but as I said before, I do have huge respect for showing this level of conditioning, having taken the fight on such short notice.
"30 seconds to go. In our third and final round in the co-main event in Durban here. Brave Combat Federation 31.
Ten seconds.
Is Dansheel Moodley en route to another dominant decision win? That's the fight.
And that was a 30-27 fight all day.
Really intelligent performance from Dansheel Moodley.
Was not the fight that Anton Larsson wanted, but it was the fight he was forced to take.
Serious show of respect in the MMA fraternity between these two warriors.
Brothers in arms. Neither fighter sustained any heavy damage. No need for significant appraisal from the excellent medical personnel that we have here. Fighters are putting on their sponsored apparel. Crazy Tie and Green Hill. Referee has the fighters ready. And Carlos Kramer's gonna make it official.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, an amazing co-main event. All three judges scored the bout after 3 rounds, 30-27. For unanimous decision victory, from South